Yes, I worked as a dramaturg on the Hierarchy of Needs, which was it can be a tricky situation to be a dramaturg on a play where you have the playwright not only in the room all the time but on stage, and you also have a director who is one of Sweden's foremost important playwrights. So my job, as I saw it in this production, was very much not to interfere too much, but let them have their dialogue about it, and then to be a support in it, where I saw that the text needed perhaps some structural changes, but I wouldn't go in too close on the text. I think this performance, it works on a lot of levels. But I would say the main theme, like now I'm speaking from the perspective of the dramaturg and looking at the narrative of it. I would say the main theme is that we have this young man, Adele, and his passion is that he wants to do theater. That's his passion. That is how he wants to fulfill the meaning of his life. And I think that every one of us, we have this urge to find a meaning in our life. We will find it in different ways. For some people it is to do arts and theater. Some people want to have a family, and that's like the meaning of their life. But I think we can identify with Adele because of the passion, and that he really needs to do this. And then you have the situation and the war in Syria, like showing up all the time, disturbing what he wants to do, and also it becomes an obstacle for him. There is a passage in the play where he talks to his friends on a screen, his friends in Syria, and one of his friends in Syria has told a story about when her father was killed, and Adele gets really upset, asks her why she wants to tell this story, because that's the story of misery and the war. And then he says, look at the audience. Look at them. See how they are pitying us with their eyes. You are there suffering from the war. I am here suffering from their eyes. So the obstacle for him is he wants to be seen as an artist. He wants to do theater about life. But in the eyes of the other, he becomes the refugee, the victim. So I think that is something that we can identify with his passion and his will to his right to identify himself, but he is identified by the others, by the audience, by us, in another way. You can look at it two ways. I don't think that art has that power to affect society in such a radical, drastical way. I think that art, in a way, is it's a very ineffective means to create social change. Politics is much better, and activism is much better. That's more effective tools. And on the other hand, referring to Mayakovsky, we're definitely not living in the age where that sort of revolution or social dynamic it's not really on the map. You could see, because I'm thinking of the financial crisis, for instance. When I look at it, it's sort of a window in history opened. It was like this, there was an opportunity for another system. But now, it's like back to status quo and back to business as usual. However, what I do think art can and should, or can do, is to be an alternative, to be a constant reminder of there is another way of being and doing and coexisting. So I wouldn't say it's not meaningless to do art, but I think that social change has to come through politics and activism. But what art is the idea of a utopia, an alternative, a critical factor, something that always disturbs the status quo. First, I have to say one thing about art and social activism, or that is actually one great quality of art that, at least in Sweden, when you apply for funding and do things, like everything is goal-oriented. It's a lot of policy making is according to this new public management model. But art is a Trojan horse. You can't really goal-orient art. So you can do art projects that are also social activism or creating new social organizations. So yeah, that is one of the beautiful things about art. In a bureaucratic society, it is a Trojan horse. You can always get around things by doing art. When it comes to the writing of contemporary mythology, I think I have to quote Hegel: "The owl of Minerva lifts at dusk." So we can't see it now. How it's impossible to know now, when we're in it, what the new archetypes in the future will be. Now I'm simply guessing, like free speculation. Mythology is, or like according to Levi-Strauss, mythology is basically constructed around dualities or binarities, like one value and its opposite, like that. That is the construction of mythology. So I think we will see a mythology where, so it's well, you could guess that in a mythology you will have the migrant and you will have the native, sort of. But that's also, it's quite an old, it's not a new symbol or a new opposite pair. We have always had the nomad contra the bofasta, sorry, the word in English, but those who stay, like that. But I think that classical binarity, yeah, that will probably take new shapes. I would say that, no, I have definitely no personal relation to migration in that sense. I did some ancestry research a couple of years ago to see like what's my heritage, and you can see on my mother's side the people move in a small circle around where I grew up, and on my father's side like they move around in a small circle around an area in the south of Sweden. Like, so it's, and only like farmhands and milkmaids. Like, so I know, because a lot of Swedish people have relatives in America, because we had a great migration during the beginning of the 20th century, like 1/5, I think, of Sweden's population migrated to America, but not in my family. So no, for me, I have no relation to migration in that sense. For me, the question of migration is, I know where I stand, like, from personal values. Because one of my core values, which I shape my ethics around, is solidarity. So for me, accepting migrants and doing and real integration, not assimilation of migrants, but integration, that is a way of expressing solidarity. And looking into the future, we will see, because of climate change, we will see much more migration. And I think that we in the West have the obligation to change our way of living, because our way of living with this overconsumption is what causes climate change, but the effects strike those who it always strikes in the South, the poor, countries without social infrastructure. So, and it's so unsolidaric and unfair that our way of living affects those who can't, those who don't have the economic or social power to handle the consequences. So either we have to accept migration here, or we have to change our way of living. The city of Gothenburg has accepted quite a lot of migrants. We have a lot of different nationalities living, or nationalities, people who have their origin in countries outside of Scandinavia and outside of Europe. The problem is that Göteborg is a highly segregated city. In the inner city, mostly Swedish people live, and then you have the suburbs, and there people with another ethnical background live. And the big challenge is how to overcome this segregation. And there is a project running within the city called An Equal Göteborg, where they're doing different initiatives to get less segregation. Problem, as I see it, is that you can do all these sort of initiatives with integration, teaching language, otherwise, but in the end, I think you need an economic redistribution of wealth. The city can do it a bit through their taxes, but you need a decision on a national level for a bigger redistribution, and that's where I see the main problem. And also here in Göteborg, the lack of affordable housing in the center. But that they are looking at it, and when they are constructing new residential areas, they try to build much more mixed, so you don't have areas with only block houses and areas with only small single family houses, but now they're trying to mix the construction of new residential area, and I believe that in 50 years we will see some effect of it.